Hello everyone, my name is Łukasz Stolarski and I'm going to talk about a slightly controversial subject, namely about short A and E, and it's especially controversial when we look at these two pictures. We have a ship and we have a sheep, and there is a battle between them. So that's kind of enigmatic what is going to happen, but let me continue with specifying who is the target audience of this video. I am not sure who is going to watch this video, so let me tell you what is the intended target audience. So this video is intended for teenagers and adults with pre-intermediate and higher competence in English, and it is designed for those without an academic background in phonetics. So on the one hand, I do expect the listeners of this podcast to be able to understand natural English, but at the same time not to be very, very advanced. I mean, this is not required, and actually I don't expect anyone listening to this video to have an academic background in phonetics. So this is for basically learners of English at different levels. I will be using normal English, meaning I'll be speaking at relatively normal speed, although I'll try not to speed up too much. But at the same time, I will avoid using technical terminology, okay? And the aims are, well, this video covers basic explanation on how to pronounce words with the first vowel and then with the second vowel, okay? And I also make a comparison between the two vowels. The whole video shouldn't be too long. So let's begin. Let me start by saying that English and Polish vowels are very different. First of all, there are only 6 vowels in Polish, and they are relatively easy to kind of intuitively enumerate because they mostly correspond to the spelling of how these vowels are usually conveyed in the writing system of the Polish language. So we have E, E, A, O, U, and I. I mean, you can also mention O and L, but for some reasons I'm not going to talk about O and L are actually treated as variants of O and E in phonetics. So as far as functional units are concerned, we only have 6 vowels in Polish. In English, there are as many as 20. I didn't even enumerate them here because that's quite a long list. There are 8 so-called diphthongs and 12 monophthongs. Well, that's a bit more complex subject than this video allows me to explain, but there are many more vowels in English than in Polish. And what is even more important, none of the vowels in English are the same as any of the vowels in Polish. So none of the 20 vowels in English is identical to any of these vowels in Polish. And you see, when you don't realize these differences, you are bound to sound foreign. Your accent will be foreign. And in some cases, you will also run the risk of being misunderstood. So people will not exactly understand what you're saying. They may misinterpret your utterance and think that you uttered something else that you meant to utter. So learning these differences are very important. And today's video is about one of the basic differences between Polish and English vowels, namely about the short A and long E. So let me begin with short A. The English short A is pronounced somewhere between the Polish E and E. I'm going to compare these English vowels to the Polish closest vowels, although this is not exactly how we always do it in phonetics. There are more scientific ways of describing differences in vowels, but for the sake of explaining to foreign learners of English, at least at the beginning, these comparisons to the native vowels are useful. So in Polish we have 2 vowels. There is E and there is I, and I gave you examples of these in a word. So we have this word beat, pronounced in Polish as beat, and this is a borrowing, actually directly borrowing from English. We have it in, especially in computer science. There are expressions such as 64 or 32-bit operating system, which in Polish would mean system operacyjny 32-bitowy albo 64-bitowy. But look, we have this word bitowy, which is basically a Polish word now. It's inflected for case, but it's also altered from the original English word by the pronunciation. I mean, we just pronounce it as a Polish word. So it is a Polish word. We have it in Polish now, okay? So it's beat. We also have the word bit, which means something like life or existence, okay? And this is pronounced with Polish e. But the English one is in between the two. Now, listen to the first, again, pronunciation of the Polish words. Beat, bit. Beat, bit. And now listen to the English one. Bit, bit, bit. It is in between. It is not e, it is not e, it is somewhere in between. So, beat, bit, bit. Once again, beat, bit, bit. So there is kind of like a gradual change from one to the other, and the English one is somewhere in between. Now whenever I teach this vowel to my students, and sometimes they have problems with the exact reproduction of this quality, I advise them to go into the direction of the Polish e. For various reasons, it is simply better or safer to pronounce it closer to Polish e, because then it becomes more distinct from the other vowel I'm going to talk about today, later. Okay, so if you're in trouble and if you have problems with the exact reproduction, it's safer to go towards e, maybe even replace it with e. Never produce Polish e in here, because this is you're in big trouble if you do that. Seriously, okay? So repeat after me. Bit. Once again. Bit. Okay. We're going to have more examples in a moment, okay? Now, a few words about the spelling of this vowel. So, short e, as it's called, is typically spelled with the letter I, and this is like most of the cases. So we have words such as with, sit, big. Normally it is spelled with I. There are other cases such as spelling with the letter E, as in pretty, or houses, okay, or IE, as in cities, okay. And you would find a few cases spelled with the letter A, as in private, and village, okay, but these are not very frequent. The most typical spelling would be the letter I. And here are some examples of words with the short English E. So I'm going to pronounce these, and my advice is try to repeat after me. So let's go. Sit, lit, bit. Zip, tip, lip. Pick, sick, brick. Big, fig, pig. Bin, din, win. Rim, dim, slim. Now remember, if you'd like to hear this again and repeat after me again, you can always rewind this video. Now let's do it slightly quicker. So, sit, lit, bit. Zip, tip, lip. Pick, sick, break. Big, fig, pig. Bin, din, win. Rim, dim, slim. Okay, Let's go to long E now. And when you look at the phonemic transcription of this vowel, you'll notice several differences. Now, when I go back to short A, you see that it doesn't have the dot above the very symbol. So it's got like this two lines above and below, but there is no dot. In the case of long E, you don't have these lines, but you have dot instead. And after that, you also have this symbol. It looks a bit like a colon, but it's actually, these are not dots, but instead these are two triangles facing each other. That's the phonemic symbol for length. In English, we have short and long vowels, which differ in length. Short are short and long are produced as long. Okay, so this means that this is one of those long vowels. So the English long E is a long vowel. It is also very tense, much more than the Polish E. And what I mean by the word tense is that you have to strain your muscles a lot. Let me show you something funny. You remember this gentleman? It's Jack Nicholson playing the role of Joker in Batman movie. There were other actors playing Joker later, and also some of them were pretty good. But I remember Jack Nicholson with this face, smiling like crazy. I mean, he played a crazy person, right? But he was smiling nevertheless, okay? And when you produce long E, you have to smile as if you were Joker, okay? You have to spread your lips and make a sound like this. E, 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 okay? So actually, there is no way you can exaggerate with smiling. Later in the presentation, I included some more examples of where this vowel is produced in English. And one of these words is cheese. And whenever people in Britain want to take a photo and they want to smile, they say cheese because it contains long E. And when you produce long E, you smile like Joker. Okay, remember, to produce long E, you have to smile like Joker. Okay, and now we can compare long E to the other vowels I discussed. So I discussed Polish E, then short E and Polish okay? And then if we were to put long E on this scale, long E would be at the edge. It is the most tense sound, and it's more tense than Polish E. Okay, so Polish E is like this. E, 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 and this one, E, E, E. It is a crazy vowel, okay, and very smiling, very smiling. Okay, so this is an example word, okay, in English. So that's beat, beat, beat. So it's very tense, it's very smiling, and it's also a long vowel. If we compare this one to the Polish beat, that will be beat, 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 beat. So we can hopefully hear the difference. Now, let me produce them one after another. You'll see that there is a pattern. They change gradually. So beat, beat, bit, bit. So there is a clear scale here from the most tense to the most relaxed one. Okay, let me go to the next slide. Now, a few words about the spelling of long E. Now, long E is typically spelled with the letters double E, very frequently also as EA, or sometimes as IE. And here are some examples. So we have tree, cheese, canteen, leaf, reason, sea, peace, field, and siege. There are other possible spellings, like for example the letter E is also encountered. So complete, these, And sometimes it could also be spelled with I, although I is more typical for short E, as I mentioned before. But we have examples of this. So we have machine, police, prestige. But there are not many examples with this spelling. The most typical are these. Okay, and some more examples of words with long E. Now, repeat after me. Flee, see, tree. Remember to make the sound long, and remember to smile like this gentleman. Read, lead, plead. Chief, reef, thief. Beat, heat, neat. Peak, leak, creek. Beam, seam, dream. Keen, queen, seen. Okay, now I'm going to produce them slightly quicker, but still remember to produce them as long vowels. Okay, so flee, see, tree. Read, lead, plead. Chief, reef, thief. Beat, heat, neat. Peak, leak, creek. Beam, seam, dream. Keen, queen, seen. Okay, so we have the basics of long E. And now, a comparison between short E and long E. There are many words in English which differ only in terms of short E and long E, and such pairs of words are called minimal pairs. A minimal pair is a general term for words differing only in terms of one sound. Okay, and here are some examples, and look, we have ship versus sheep. Now, so if we go back to the very beginning, now I hope you understand why I called this lecture the Battle of Ship and Sheep. So the ship is with short E and sheep is with long E, and these are not the same words, not just in the spelling, because the spelling is different, but also they differ in pronunciation, and the pronunciation difference is pretty distinct. Okay, okay, so repeat after me. Ship, sheep. Bin, bean. Chip, cheap. His, he's. It, eat. Sit, seat. Okay, now I have more examples of that. I mean, this didn't take me much time to find such minimal pairs, and there are several of them here, as you see. If you were to look on the internet, you would find many, many, many more. Actually, the minimal pairs with long A and with short E and long E are pretty common in English, okay? And if you mispronounce one word and produce a different quality of the vowel, such as, for example, you produce long E instead of short A in the word that you meant to be short E or long E, or whichever way you make a mistake, you're in trouble. And also, if you produce Polish E instead of any of these vowels, people will not understand which word you mean. And this is only a small selection of such minimal pairs. There are many more. So that's why this distinction is quite important. Now, I'm going to produce these only once, but there are many of them, so I hope this will be a lot of opportunity for you to practice. So, repeat after me. Did, deed. Fill, feel. Fit, feet. Grin, green. Hit, heat. Is, ease. Slip, sleep. Still, steal. Bit, beat. Itch, each. Grid, greed. Hid, heed. Hill, heel. Ill, eel. Lick, leak. Lip, leap. Pick, peak. Pitch, peach. Sick, seek. Sin, seen. Still, steal. Tin, teen. Bid, bead. Chick, cheek. Okay. Now, before I finish, because that's mostly everything I wanted to say, so it was a really short recording. But anyway, before I finish, out of curiosity, this is not something I'm going to go into any details, but just out of curiosity, whenever we describe vowels in phonetics, instead of comparing them to natural vowels in languages such as Polish, we actually use a system called cardinal vowel system. So if you ever decide on studying English philology, you will have training on this system, and your teacher of phonetics will explain what the system is about, and they will teach you how to pronounce vowels by referring to this system. I mean, this reference to Polish vowels will also be probably a part of your training, but it will also include this system. Okay, doesn't really matter exactly what it does. It just compares the pronunciation of the specific vowel to certain reference points, and these reference points are artificial vowels. These are not vowels in any particular language. Okay, but let me give you an example. There is this software that I created that does it automatically for you. And again, this is out of curiosity, nothing which is the core part of this lecture. But let me show an example. So I'm going to load the pronunciation of, let's say, long R by a female speaker of Polish. You know what? Let me play it to you so that you can hear it. Okay, and now let me load this into the software. I'll choose female voice presets. I'll do analysis. Okay, here we have some measurements. Doesn't matter really what it does, but when you do that, you get your placement of the vowel in this system. And this is actually very close to where Polish I is predicted to be. So it's an open vowel at the bottom of this diagram. Okay, so if you ever decide on studying English philology, you will go through stuff like that. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. Okay, that's everything what I wanted to say. Have a nice day. Bye bye.